Hi everyone, this is Long Vo. Today I'm analyzing one of my games on chess.com, played on August 13th, 2012. I'm playing white, currently rated 1166, and my opponent playing black is rated 1302. So I start off with e4, he goes e6, I go d4, and he goes d6. So I'm not sure why he did that, and this way he's blocking off both of his bishops. So I continue with knight to c3, and he goes bishop to e7. I continue with knight to f3, and he goes knight to f6. So I guess he's developing the king side more, probably with the idea of castling king side. So I go bishop to g5, putting pressure on the knight, and he goes a6. So now I push with e5, attacking the knight. So he takes d takes e, d takes e, and at this point I don't mind exchanging queens because they're connected here with the rook. So that's why I developed the queen side knight and the bishop, so I could connect the queens, the rook and the queen. So if he takes, I simply take, and I have control of the d file. So he retreats the knight to d7, and I go bishop to e2. So this is a mistake, because now my bishop is hanging. So he goes b5, so he didn't see that, but what he could have done was simply take the bishop, and if I take back, then the queen takes. So that was a rookie mistake. So anyways, he goes b5, and I castle, so I still haven't seen that mistake. Now he takes, bishop takes g5, knight takes g5, queen takes g5. So now I'm down a piece. Knight to e4, attacking the queen. And now queen takes e5, so I'm not doing so well. So queen to d3. So I do expect him to castle eventually kingside. So the queen here connects the rooks and finishes my development. And the queen is more centralized. So knight to c5, attacking the queen. So I don't feel that I have a choice here. So knight takes c5, and queen takes c5. Now rook to d1. So here there's a checkmate threat there. So obviously he sees that, he castles kingside. So my queen is still in a pretty good position here, attacking the h-pawn. So I go queen to e4, attacking the rook. So if he goes bishop, so I could simply take. So instead he goes knight to c6. And the reason that I also went the queen there, not only to centralize, but to open the d file for the rooks, and perhaps doing a rook lift or something, attacking the king side. So that's what I did. Rook to d3, and bishop to b7, x-raying the queen there. So rook to h3. So at this point I wasn't worried about the x-ray, because there wasn't a real move that could really it's not like he could deliver check with the knight or attack a stronger piece. So I wasn't worried about that. And there was this pawn here, so if he ever did that, I could always retreat here. The pawn protects the queen, so there's no problems there. So he sees the checkmate threat, so he goes g6 and queen to h4 with another threat here. So he goes h5. So now I go rook to g3, pinning the g pawn. So with the idea of perhaps taking with the bishop or something like that. Well, the queen is defending the pawn here, so perhaps taking with the bishop, and just to weaken his king side. There's another way in here as well for the queen through the dark squares. So queen to c2, attacking the bishop. And because the queen is no longer protecting the h-pawn, so I went queen takes h5 and also defending the bishop. So he goes queen to takes b2, and I guess he's putting his queen on the dark square so he could go back if necessary to defend. So my queen is not in danger right now because of the pin. So I go bishop to d3 with the idea of further weakening the king side here. So he goes queen to g7, bringing the queen back for defense. And breaking the pin on the pawn here, so now my queen is threatened. So queen to g5. So the idea here is if I take, he takes back and I take, then his king is weakened. So he goes rook to d8, attacking the bishop. So bishop to e4. Centralizing the bishop, putting a little bit of pressure on this side here. So rook to d6. So I'm not sure why he went there. Perhaps just finding a move to double the rooks. So I go rook to e1 with the idea of doing another rook lift. So now he goes bishop to c8. So I guess the rook went there to protect the knight, so he didn't need to tie down his bishop, with the idea of perhaps advancing the e-pawn, opening up the diagonal for the bishop to come in the defense. Also, the rook would be protecting the g-pawn. So now I go f3, because I do see that the bishop is sort of hanging there, and the idea is obviously I can't do the rook lift on the third rank, so I was thinking perhaps doing it on the fourth rank. The pawn going here would simply protect the bishop, just in case some tactics like this, if the rook ever moved. So he brings his knight back for defense with knight to e7. That was a mistake. So queen takes e7. So he blundered. He didn't see that move, and he goes queen to d4, check. So that's where I feel well, maybe it was a mistake for me to weaken the king side, but anyways, that's what I did. I felt I needed a little bit more defense on the for the bishop. So I go king to f1 instead of h1, because if I went to h1, he could perhaps move the queen down here, and I'm in trouble of a back rank mate. So I decided to protect the rook. So he goes b4. So I don't think that's a good move because it's just way too slow to start pushing the pawn here. He has all these active pieces. Perhaps he should find a way to bring more pieces into the attack, or to sort of deal with defending the king. So queen goes back to g5 with the idea of creating a battery on this side here. So if takes back, then check, and he would be in trouble. So same thing, he has the idea of pushing pawns, so a5. I don't think that's a good move. So now bishop takes g6, opening the g file, and bishop to a6 check. So I block with rook to e2. So because that was my only move, I couldn't have moved the king anywhere, or I couldn't have retreated the bishop, or else, well, I could have, and then it would have been check. So that could have been a move. That's probably a stronger move than blocking with the rook. Anyways, that's what I did, and he goes bishop takes e2, and king takes e2. So now my king is pretty much in trouble here. However, the queen is defending the d2 square. So he goes queen to b2 check. Now I retreat the bishop with a discovered check on his king. So bishop to c2 with a discovered check on the king. I think his best move right here should have been to go queen to g7. But instead he went king to h8, and I went queen to h6 checkmate.